Growing up, I felt like an outcast, like for a lot of my childhood. Like we moved when I was 7, and I think I like retained like new kid status in my neighborhood until I was like 12 or 13, until like the next new kid came in. And then my parents got divorced, and I was the only friend of like my friend group who had like a divorced family, which is like crazy to me. I don't know like what kind of like idyllic place I grew up where that was the case, but so I come from like 2 really secular homes, right? Like my mom, we never went to temple growing up. We ate pork all the time. Like I had no like semblance of like a Friday night Shabbat dinner. Like my mom wasn't religious, right? That's the point. My dad's not religious either, right? So when I would go to like Christmas, and when I go to Christmas now, and when I go to Easter, they're like lovely dinners, but they're just dinners. They're not like different than like a Thanksgiving dinner, or if like all of my family, which you know basically lives in Wilmington, Delaware on my dad's side, gets together on like a random day on like July 4th or like, you know, any Sunday, and we all ate together. That's kind of how like Christmas and Easter feel. Jewish holidays are different, man. Like Jewish holidays, like you're eating different food depending on the holiday, right? So if you're celebrating Hanukkah, you've got like latkes, right? Like you've got like the fried potato. And then if you're doing Passover, you've got matzah, and everything has to have matzah. And if you're doing Yom Kippur, when you break the fast, you're eating like breakfast food. So even like for a non-religious family that didn't go to temple and didn't do all these things, like you could tell when I'm celebrating holidays, like Jewish holidays are special and different, and they have cooler stories. Like what makes Judaism special is like its text. Like Judaism has like books and books that you can be reading that are like insightful into our stories and into our people. And I just like think it is like deeply cool. I think the amount of thinking that has gone on over the last 3,000 years to like find meaning in our lives and in our story is just astounding. So I don't know, I just like geek over it. I geek out over finding out new stuff about Judaism. And I geek out over finding out new stuff, like I'm reading the Hamilton biography, and like I really geek out about that. But so for me, like Judaism is probably also perfect because like I'm a texty person, and like it's a texty religion, and it's deep and thoughtful, and I like that about it. I came here from Memphis after losing a job, so I got fired, and the first person that I ended up calling was the assistant director at the Memphis JCC, who was like a friend of mine. I had never really deeply engaged in like the Jewish community. Like I had done, I went to a Hillel event once when I was in college, and it was just like not for me. It was just like getting questions about camp and like where I grew up and who I knew that was Jewish, and I like didn't know any Jewish people when I grew up. Like everything that I did when I was like growing up was with non-Jewish people, except like when I went to synagogue, which always felt weird anyway. After I got fired and I actually had talked to my friend, it kind of made me realize whenever like the Jewish community, whenever I needed the Jewish community, they were there for me. It felt really kind of like selfish, actually, to be like doing that and not investigating for myself what it meant. So I started engaging more, and I really liked it. And then I ended up thinking, you know what, if I'm really liking this and this is important to me, this is a really crappy way to engage Jewish people, is like to wait for something bad to happen for them to realize that being Jewish is important. There's got to be a place where we could be doing this better, and that's on college campuses to me. This was like a huge decision for me to come into the Jewish world for like a bunch of reasons when I did it. Like one was, it's like you're like really stepping into like an identity, right? Like when you're a Jewish professional on campus, it's like, who's that guy? Well, that's the Jewish guy. Like that's what he is. He works with the Jews. I never worked with just like all Jewish people before, even been in rooms with all Jewish people ever before. So it was like big from that perspective. I care about this work a lot right now, and I'm committed to it for like the foreseeable future, right? Like I believe in the Jewish future, and I think that like we really, it is like something that we kind of like have to fight for right now. I can't imagine doing anything else because like I like doing this so much. Like I like being able to be engaged in conversation as much as I am, and engaged in like just like Jewish stuff as much as I do. I can't imagine like doing something else and like doing this on the side. Like it just feels like I'd be unhappy that way.